Hi everyone, my name is Chen Zhaoshang, and I'm a Senior Product Manager with Alibaba Cloud's ApsaraDB for RDS for SQL. Today, over the next 30 minutes, I will introduce to you key concepts and the main functions of ApsaraDB for RDS for SQL. You can submit questions to me at any time through the on-screen text box, and I will answer after the webinar. Okay, let's get started. First of all, I would like to explain that ApsaraDB is a cloud computing PaaS, platform as a service offering of Alibaba Cloud. It provides database functions as a service to customers. Users of this service can purchase, upgrade, and release resources as needed. RDS is the relational database service, and it includes the MySQL service, SQL service, PostgreSQL service, PPS service. Lastly, there is also the PolarDB service, which was developed internally by Alibaba Cloud and is compatible with MySQL. As you can see, today we will explore three topics regarding RDS for SQL. First, I will introduce you to the product types of SQL Server, including deployment types, versions, and what instance you can choose. Next, I will discuss the key features of RDS for SQL. As you may already be aware, the SQL Server is a Microsoft product and we don't have access to its source code. But we can provide functions regarding management, deployment, security, monitoring, and some other utilities to help you utilize SQL Server to support your online business assets. Finally, I will share with you what the future holds for the SQL Server products. Okay. There are currently two deployments of the SQL Server. One is basic series and the other is high available. One basic instance offers one server, and one high available instance offers two servers. Compared with the high available instance, the basic instance doesn't look as powerful, and that is true. If a disaster happened on the server running on basic with a single instance, such as a power fail, for example, how can we restore our database service? We can't exactly restore it unless we have the data on the server disk. So, what we therefore need to do is pull the database files and the log files on an SSD cloud disk and let the instance run a separate ECS instance. ECS stands for Elastic Compute Service and is Alibaba Cloud's basic cloud server product. As you can see, Cloud Disk has a mechanism that enables us to save files with 3 copies. 1, 2, 3. And which gives its data protection reliability of 99.999999%. When a disaster does happen, RDS management system will create a new ECS instance with a SQL Server image, the red ECS. And this will attach the SSD cloud disk when the ECS instance is deployed. After all this has been done, the new RDS instance will replace the old failed instance. All of this processes consume a certain amount of time, and especially when creating a new ECS instance. This can take 30 minutes at most from our experience, but it usually takes only 50 minutes. So I recommend that you deploy your deployment environment on basic instance, or you can deploy the systems that don't need to be high availability. For instance, some systems have cache systems for database that can tolerate 1 hour or so of failure time. To illustrate this, some e-commerce websites catch all their categories of products on the application RAM, and the application doesn't access the database during their daily daytime. It only builds the product category tree 1 or 2 times within 24 hours. For this type of situation, I suggest you can try a basic instance. So, what's the advantage of a basic instance? Cost, of course. It's even more cost efficient than a self-deployed SQL Server instance. But customers who use RDS can also get access to the following functions to help support their business. 1. Purchase, upgrade, release SQL Server instance at any time. You only need to click one button to finish the job, which is very convenient. 2. With default configuration, RDS can back up the database automatically, as you can also change the configuration. You can restore your database by time or by backup ID with one click. 3. You don't need to build your own monitor, which is very complicated in itself. And 4. RDS has inbuilt security system to protect your database. So this way you spend more money, you spend more and get more service at the same time. Let me now talk about the high available instances. There are now 2 servers behind the one RDS for SQL Server service instance. The biggest advantage is the high availability feature, which offers recovery time object RTO under 90 seconds and 30 seconds generally according to our experience. The 2 servers have different roles. One is primary server, which responds to the applications or users' requests in normal time. The second one is the secondary server, which stands by the primary server. It will become the primary server when the first server, if for any reason it is down or unavailable. The high availability system is self-developed by Alibaba Cloud. We have over 10 years experience of dealing with server downtime, and from this we have developed a rich experience and advanced technologies to provide a high availability system that can deal with almost any failures. The replication from primary server to secondary server is performed through the mirror technology of the SQL Server. RDS supports customizing different modes of replication, synchronization or replication, or asynchronous replication. If you care more about performance than consistency, I recommend choosing asynchronous replication. There is also one important thing I want to emphasize. RDS will wait for the newest transaction log to be delivered to the secondary server and then switch the primary servers and the secondary servers rule in case of non-down switch even if the database set asynchronous replication. So there will be no data loss in normal time, but maybe it will lose recent data in extremely failing cases, such as if the previous primary server can't start anymore if you set asynchronous. However, if you are aware of cloud disk, you know you can find the most recent data on the disk. I want to let you know that 2080 R2 instance database file doesn't save on the SSD cloud disk. Rather, it saves on the local SSD disk instead. The advantage here is performance, and the RPS is more than SSD cloud disks. Just for now, the cloud disk will achieve a higher RPS when it releases the eSSD. So 2012 or above editions whose instance deployed on the ECS and the database file or saved on the cloud disk can easier get extra hardware dividend than 2008 R2. So in summary, we have the high availability feature of the high availability system instance, and the RTO is less than 90 seconds. On the previous slide, I mentioned the 2080 R2 and the 2012 editions. I will now show you all the editions that you can purchase on this slide. Let's have a look. As you can see, all the web editions are basic series, and all the standard editions are high available series, except the 2012 Enterprise Basic Edition, which we didn't release 2014 editions, so I recommend that you purchase the corresponding 2016 editions directly, which are compatible. In particular, the 2012 Enterprise Edition is very reasonable at the moment for a cost perspective. If you don't know which edition you should choose the 2012 edition, Enterprise Edition first, and then test others. So the 2080 R2 and the 2012 Enterprise editions can upgrade to 2016 standard editions, because 2016 standard edition includes major 2016 Enterprise Edition features. RDS does not support SSIs, SSRs, SSAs for now. We will perhaps release them with the 2016 Enterprise editions. You may be wondering why we don't release the standard and the Enterprise edition basic series. The answer is because they are not cost effective. As you may know, the SQL license price of the standard and the Enterprise edition is very high. The rest of the cost, including server and the RDS software, is very low compared with a license. The SQL Server also limits the high availability function of the web edition, so we only offer the basic series. SQL Server has a scale limits for different editions. The maximum capacity used by a single instance is 16 core CPU and 64 gigabytes RAM if it is a web instance. 24 core CPU and 96 gigabytes RAM if it is a standard instance. And lastly, there are no limits on the enterprise instance. Note that the RDS follows these limits defined by Microsoft. The final slide for this section looks at instance classes. Each edition has different classes. For example, the web edition has 8 classes, CPU capacity from 2 cores to 16 cores, and RAM capacity from 4 gigabytes to 64 gigabytes. There are 2 classes types, general instance and dedicated instance. The difference between them lies in their CPU composition. If you purchase the dedicated instance, you get exclusive CPU resources, but for general instance, you don't. For example, on this slide, 3 customers purchased 6 core CPU and 6 gigabytes RAM. 2 core CPU, 2 gigabytes RAM each. They may gain 4 core CPU and 6 gigabytes computing capacity if they all purchase general instance. Therefore, there may be competition for CPU resources. They gain 6 core CPU and 6 gigabytes if they all purchase the dedicated instance. The 2018 R2 High Availability Enterprise Edition and the 2012 Basic Enterprise Edition have general classes. Others are all dedicated classes. That's why their processes are cheaper. I talked about product format of SQL Server within the previous 4 slides. Now I'm going to share the key features of RDS for SQL Server. First, I will share some of the management features, and secondly about the security. Thirdly, I will explain about monitoring and migration tools. For RDS, there are 2 ways to purchase instance. Pay-as-you-go means that you can release instance at any time as you wish. Subscription is a monthly method of billing, and you can only purchase at multi-times of months. Pay-as-you-go and subscription. RDS will release your instance automatically if your subscription instance expires without renewing. But RDS will keep the instance for 7 days in locked state, so you can purchase it back within 7 days. After 7 locked days, RDS will release your instance forever. And you won't be able to retrieve your data from the expired instance. I recommend saving your data before you or the RDS products release your instance. Pay-as-you-go instance is more expensive than subscription for the same classes. The better way is purchasing a subscription instance, so you can get your refund after you release instance through the Alibaba Service Center. Pay-as-you-go instances can be converted to a subscription instance at any time. There is a downtime period for the last step. Downtime depends on different product forms. Seconds for high availability and around 30 minutes for basic. You don't need to spend a lot of money at the beginning thanks to the flexibility of the instance and Lifecycle. This is the basic management as a DBA. You will save a lot of money for your long-term business if you purchase subscription instance for 1 year. What is the most important task that you ask a DBA? I think database backup is the answer, because we will all lose our business if we lost that data. So RDS has a backup mechanism. So to protect your data, so you can set a backup policy, including how many days you want to retain your data, the backup cycle frequency, and what time you want to start the backup each day. It's very simple to use, and all you need to do is set the configuration in advance. I would like to mention that RDS for SQL Server supports full backup, incremental backup, that includes default backup and log backup. You can download backup files on the web console or by open API for RDS regularly, and it's also free. Regarding the cost, RDS offers 50% of your instance disk space for backup space free of charge. For example, you get 50 gigabytes backup space if you purchase 100 gigabytes of instance disk space. It's very cheap even if the backup file size exceeds 50%. The backup cycle includes three days of backup. Yeah, the first day is full backup. The second day is incremental backup, and the third day is incremental backup. Usually, RDS will start its backup again if the daily backup failed in the maintain time, which is also monitored. In the past, we used to save backup file on local disk first, copy them to the OSS, and lastly delete the local files. We found two problems with this method. First, the backup file may fill the local disk space, and second, the backup process consumes too much time. So we create what we called it the streaming backup. Here, RDS backups database files to OSS directly, so you don't have to save files on the local disk. The benefits result is a 10% increase in backup speed. Of course, RDS supports recovery data to your original instance, but I don't suggest that. RDS has a function called clone instance, where you can recover a database to a new instance just like the original one. You can set a recovery by time or by backup ID. RDS manager system finds the relevant files include data files and log files correspond to your recovery time. It selects the latest full backup and incremental backup and then restores and performs database recovery. As I mentioned, RDS database backup file saved on OSS, so the RDS recovery process needs to download the files from OSS first, which will consume some time. The speed is approximately 13 megabytes per second usually. After the restore and the recovery process, RDS will do a DBCC check, database console command transact SQL, for the new instance to ensure no data is damaged or lost. Of course, you can customize your new instance configuration too, like the VPC ID and vSwitch ID, pairway, and other configs. But you can't change the database version or deployment mode, which belongs to the upgrade engine function. Clone instance can help to ensure that your original instance is secure. You will lose your data forever if you recover data to your original instance by mistake. So clone instance is a safe way of database recovery. We can use clone instance to deploy your applications for your new department quickly. This is very convenient for distributed software. I will move on to talk about the security of RDS for SQL Server for the next 4 slides. RDS has a major focus security, and this is to guarantee the security of instances before, during, and after deployments. The RDS IP whitelist acts as a firewall for your instance before a response is made to any request. Whitelist can be accurate to the IP level, and only the server with its IP on a whitelist can access RDS. Alternatively, RDS will allow any server's access if you set it to 0.0.0/0. The default configuration 127.0.0.1 will disable all address access altogether. You can choose your network type and purchasing time, whether it could be the classic or VPC. If you select VPC, the instance will be located in a specific VPC because illegal requests can't penetrate from VPC to RDS instance. This makes it very secure. Basically, if the ECS network type is classic, all ECS and RDS have different VPC configurations. The application or ECS can't access RDS because the VPC is isolating the network traffic. There is also a difference when comparing the 2008 R2 HA edition and the 2012 Basic Enterprise Edition. Web editions 2012 and 2016 HA editions. If your ECS net type is classic, it can access 2008 R2 HA in a VPC environment. So to do the 2012 Basic Enterprise Edition and Web editions, but it can't access 2012 and 2016 HA editions. Instances in a VPC environment and RDS IP whitelist protect against illegal access, and we suggest that you configure them as long as the instance is created. The 2008 R2 HA editions offers a SSO module and a TDE module. The connections between the application and database can be encrypted using SSL. You will get a new collection address when you enable SSL config. You can download the CL certificate to the application server and install it, and then use the new collections address to connect to RDS. When the connection address has been changed, the certificate automatically updates and your database instance are restarted. You can enable TDE module for your instance. However, you can't disable it if you enable it, but you can specify the specific database you wanted, which means TDE does have an effect at the database level. The SSL module and the TDE module provide protection for the duration of your RDS instance, and we will release this security service for the 2012 and 2016 versions later this year. The next security protection is auditing. Action Trail, one of our Alibaba Cloud products, record all the instance management actions by using OpenAPI. Action records contain the sufficient information for auditing, such as the Alibaba user ID, the IP address of where the action came from, the action at time and the action itself and the result. Basically, it tells you who, when, and did what on your instance. RDS has a secure audit for database access and secure sentences. It records information including database user, IP address, time, secure content, and result. You can trace all the access to your databases. We once faced a case that a game provider regularly lost their customer information. Then they used the secure audit to find out whether an employee had sold the information to their competitor. RDS will save the secure audit file on the OSS product. If you enable secure audit for 30 days and you can't change the period, so secure audit will cost you money because it needs space to save audit files. And the secure audit also saves the selected statements. The size may expand very quickly. The size of the secure audit files depends on your database traffic and has nothing to do with the instance disk space. For example, if your instance disk space is 30 gigabytes and it have heavy traffic, its audit size will probably be 300 gigabytes for the 30 days. I want to also tell you that the secure audit consumes low performance of the instance, under 4% of CPU usage. It also doesn't affect your normal application requests, I think, which is good. Our 2012 and 2016 high availability editions can be deployed in your own VPC. We support linked server and distributed transaction on these editions. Database user can access another SQL Server instance database data by using a linked server. You can use linked server directly between RDS instance in the same VPC environment. If your other SQL Server instance is self-deployed on ECS, which is the classic network type, you will first need to enable the ECS hard link to VPC, which the RDS belongs to. We also support creating a linked server to instance deployed in your own data center by using a VPN to connect to the VPC. The network is connected and you can create a linked server. For example, your headquarters database might be hosted on the RDS and your local branches companies databases are deployed in their own data centers. In this scenario, you can use a linked server and VPN or Express Connect, which is another excellent network product that offers a dedicated private network. We offer these features for 2012 and 2016 high availability editions. Next, I will talk about monitoring. The RDS management system collects instance resource running data and displays this on the RDS console and on Cloud Monitor. You can customize monitor frequency to 60 seconds from 300 seconds, but monitoring frequency shorter than 5 minutes will incur additional costs. You can also define your own alarm rules. The RDS, the RDS monitor server will help you to monitor resources usage and engine uses. Server resources monitoring includes CPU and RAM and disk usage, and IOPS usage, connections, as well as the network traffic. Engine monitoring includes instance QPS and TPS, row changes, catch hit rate, and so on. Our RDS provides a connection address for one instance, and you will receive the internet address after you set the IP whitelist. You will also get an internet address if you apply an internet access. I don't recommend applying public internet access, as this isn't safe for publishing your database to the internet. Here you can modify connection addresses and also modify the connection port. The connection port can be modified to 1433, which is a default port of the SQL server. But you will need to remember that RDS will restart after the modified connection address if you decided to enable the SSL module. The connection address rule won't change unless you modify it. But the virtual IP may change. You will get the VPC's VIP if the instance is in a VPC environment, and you will get a classic VIP if the instance in a classic environment. Pinning RDS to ECS, you will find the virtual IP assigned by RDS server load balancer. But remember, it can be changed and it's unsafe using it by the application. If your RDS instance is a high availability editions across 2 zones, you will find the VIP changes when switching the primary route to another load. Okay. How can I migrate data to RDS from my own data center? This is an important question, and DTS is the right product for migration. Its mechanism is reading data from source database and writing data to object database. Because SQL Server source is not open and free, logical transportation may have some compatibility problems. RDS supports recovery of database backup file from OSS. Database backup first. Uploading of the backup files to OSS from the same region as RDS. Same region. And recovery from the OSS. The RDS management system downloads files from OSS to the instance local disk and then restores to RDS. After that, the RDS management system deletes the local backup files, which is 100% compatible. All the RDS SQL Server editions have this function to migrate. They also now support for backup file recovery. This supports incremental backup files, including deferred backup and log backup, will very soon be available for the 2012 and 2016 editions. Your system's downtime can be under 10 minutes after incremental backup file recovery function is released. it is not recommended that you migrate over 3 generation versions. So you can migrate database to RDS from for SQL Server 2008 R2 if your database version is currently 2005. I recommend that you use newer versions like the 2016 editions, but you can also migrate to 2008 R2 to start with and then upgrade to 2016 through using the upgrade function. If your system can't tolerate a few minutes of downtime, you can choose the DTS product, or you can use the replication technology to build your own hybrid cloud architecture. RDS for SQL Server 2012 and 2016 HA editions can be the targeted database of replication. This method has less downtime and is also compatible. They have talked about some of the key features of RDS for SQL Server. One, flexibility of the Lifecycle. You can purchase, upgrade, even downgrade, and release your RDS instance at any time. And the subscription method of purchasing is much cheaper than the pay-as-you-go model. Two, it's simple to backup your database and to recover it. A streaming backup technology accelerates over 10% of the backup speed and includes no local disk consumption. The clone instance, is very useful for creating a development environment. 4. There are multiple protections and security mechanisms, including the IP whitelist, DB instance deployed within the user's VPC, the SSL module, the TDE module, action trail, and the SQL Audit service. 5. We have also released linked server and distributed transaction on the 2012 and 2016 high availability editions. Next, the monitoring system and one connection address are very easy to manage. And you can recover the database backup file to the RDS through OSS. 2012 and 2016 editions offer incremental backup file recovery. This is an easy and convenient way to migrate. You can choose DTS product or replication technology of SQL Server to build your own hybrid cloud architecture. For such case, the downtime of migration is just a few seconds. And that's the summary. And now I want to share some thoughts about the future development of the RDS for SQL Server. First, we will release the SQL Server Horizon editions this year. Enterprise edition now also offers high availability deployment and will offer read-only instance. The Horizon edition can support deployment in 2 regions that have the ability of region fail disaster. We will release the latest edition 2017 of SQL Server in the future. We will also release Cloud DBA function this year. Cloud DBA focuses on performance tuning and troubleshooting, and we have the confidence to create more excellent tools to help DBA. Finally, I would like to share with you our product team's primary purpose, which is to share the convenience of cloud computing to companies needing IT service. To accomplish this, our product team will continue our efforts to focus on user experience, stability, security, and ease of use, such as recovery database backup file to the RDS. Okay, thank you for watching this webinar. Please feel free to post a message to me if you have any questions, and I will respond to you in the questions and answer box below. You can find out more about Alibaba Cloud by visiting alibabacloud.com/tc. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Bye-bye.